Okay, this one might be a tough sell, but I want to make a case for adjuncts, adjunct instructors, for their value to you in your degree programs. In most higher ed professional programs, you're better off having a course taught by an adjunct instructor than by a full-time tenure track professor. There, I said it.
And 1.74 H bar, okay? The uncertainty principle. It proves we can't ever really know what's going on.
With almost 75% of higher ed coursework taught by adjuncts, and the problems of exploitation at the hands of colleges, universities, and professional schools, and the altruistic professors who pretend to care and protect the rights of the adjunct, all the while making it even more difficult for an adjunct to even make a living today, you're better off with the value add of an adjunct teaching your course. You are going to gain more real-life help from an adjunct teaching your courses. Hey, I admit this is not a popular idea, and it won't be popular with all my adjunct buddies, but let me make a case for it and see what you think. Hi, I'm James Callahan, and this is the Do-Over Show, where we do tackle those difficult questions that face life and career, our professions, and yes, higher education. So please tap the like button and subscribe, and let's get started.
But even though you can't figure anything out, you will be responsible for it on the midterm.
Now, I've done my best to point out the exploitation and abuse of adjuncts in higher education, professional, profit, for-profit, nonprofit schools, and yet for all the wannabes in the adjunct world, we still sign up and say, yes, please. Yes, colleges or universities can pay 4 or 5 adjunct instructors the national average of about $3,500 per course. And that adds up to $1,750, maybe $20,000 out of pocket for the college or university. But that saves them $60,000 compared to the average $80,000 they'll pay a full-time tenured professor to teach the same number of courses. And yes, colleges and universities today are essentially land trusts, and they run hospitality management firms. Just think room and board. And yes, they derive day-to-day cash flow from room and board and a little bit from tuition. And they make you buy health insurance if you don't have any in order to supplement the health insurance that they have to pay in their group plan for their 70-year-old professors. And yes, you'll probably take out student loans to pay for that exorbitant cost of a higher education today, wondering if your degree and your degree program will actually put you in a position that maybe one day you might actually be able to pay off your student loans. That is, if your degree makes you worth enough in the marketplace. But there's another side to this story, the story of adjuncts, that benefits all of us.
Archaeology is the search for fact, not truth. If it's truth you're interested in, Dr. Tyree's philosophy class is right down the hall.
And here it is. You're better prepared for real life, for professional life, when most of your courses are taught by adjuncts than you are by tenured professors who live in the world of academia. You're better prepared for the professional world, for the realities, for what money is possible, what you're going to make, what's out there. And you escape all the unrealistic expectations that we dream up in the ivory towers of higher education or in the faculty offices in the basement of some old smelly building. Now, there are 2 types of adjuncts in today's world. There's the academic professional, and then there's the professional professional. The troubled and troublesome kind are the wannabes who are deluded or tricked into thinking that if they just get their foot in the door, they'll show the world, they'll show higher education what a wonderful instructor they are, and they'll get hired for that full-time professional academic role. But this kind of thing just doesn't happen today, and it happens even less if it does happen at all. But hey, I have a confession for you. This is how I started in higher education. I finished grad school, got a teaching gig while I had a full-time job as an adjunct at a local college, and I worked my way into a full-year contract full-time and transitioned out of my day job. And then I interviewed for and got a tenure track appointment and lasted there 5 whole years before we said goodbye to each other. Now, these full-time academics and academia, these aspiring professional academics, they want to work in the business of academia and make their money from the industry. They want the professor's schedule. They want to publish or parish culture. They want the tweed sport coat and elbow patches. They want to complain about students in office hours. They want it all. But this kind of academic is really an extinct dinosaur in today's world of higher education. Maybe a better character in a novel, but not in the real world.
But that does not relieve you from your responsibility for this material. Now, I'm waiting for reports from some of you. I'm not joking. This is my job.
But then there's that second kind of adjunct, the professional who actually have a job and credentials and background in their field, who work in their field full time and are tapped to teach a course in this or that subject as an adjunct. They're the ones who will add so much more value to your professional career and your earning potential. With experience and credentials, they teach professional program courses like accounting and business and some STEM coursework. Now, often these professionals are asked to be adjunct by their firm, their business. Sometimes it's required for them to become a partner because what they do out of it is not only hone their skills, but they also develop networks in the next generation of hires for that company, for that firm. Sometimes that requirement leads to job opportunities for better students, and it gives you the chance in the class to be a better student and to show yourself that you're worthy of being hired. This kind of adjunct doesn't complain about the lack of compensation because they don't make a living by being an adjunct. In fact, they don't even aspire to be a full-time academic because if they did, they would take a huge pay cut. But these professionals who serve as adjuncts are the greatest value add that you need to take advantage of in your higher education program because at your college or university, you will have courses taught by adjuncts and they're the ones to connect with. They're the ones who will get you an opportunity for a career, for that first job, to get started and to discover what kind of earning potential you have in the real world. Another way of viewing the two types of adjuncts are whether they teach from a textbook, the professional academic, or whether they teach things that a textbook simply cannot capture, that is, anecdotes and real-life experience from the professional world. Now, I admit that I have an academic background. My degree is in religious studies and religious history, and I teach some in the nonprofit world. So my work and my value add is that I've been someone who's made a living within those fields. Yes, I teach from a textbook, but what I talk about in class is what to do with the knowledge they get from that textbook. And I use real-life examples and anecdotes because I have become the professional who also serves as an adjunct. I no longer aspire to return to the ivory towers of academia. Yes, it's a nice schedule. Yes, I do enjoy tweed. Never been able to grow the sufficient facial hair to look like that old distinguished professor. I just look old. But for the most part, the value add of a professional can far outweigh the value add of somebody who has only known their higher education programs, their tenure track job, and their post-tenure review. So my advice is when you find one of those professionals teaching as an adjunct, take full advantage of it. Show up for people who don't hold office hours because they're required, but are so busy that they're really pressed to even offer those office hours. You see, those are the kind of people who work for a living. Those are the kind of people who can help you find a living. And use the full-time tenure track instructor to sign off on your course requirements, to make sure you check all the boxes for graduation, or to give you that professional reference letter that might get you into a graduate school if you're interested in a life in academia. But if you're interested in actually making money and having a career outside of academia, then you need to tap into what is possible through those professionals who are there teaching that course one night a week, one afternoon a week, sharing with you what actually happens in the world that generates income, that makes things work.
Next week, Egyptology, starting with the excavation of New Crates by Flinders Petrie in 1885. I will be in my office if anybody's got any problems for the next hour and a half.
So my take is do everything in your power to make yourself important, make yourself more visible, make yourself front and center for the professional who's teaching that academic course that you're taking. Find them, learn from the professionals who are adjuncts for the right reason, for you. The reason that you are in a higher education program is not simply to take a few days off of work, but it's to find work that you'll be able to make a living, something that you'll enjoy, something that will pay you a significant wage. that you know you are worth. So take control of your academic life. Take control by finding people within your academic sphere, within that degree program, who can actually help you develop your professional credentials, who will get you, your foot in the door for that first job. They will help you network, and you networking with them will open up worlds to you that somebody who is a professor alone will never be able to do. And thanks for being part of the Do-Over Show. And please tap the like button. And while you're down there, remember to subscribe and ring the notifications bell so you don't miss the next episode of the Do-Over Show. I'm so glad you found me, and I found you. Thanks.